Hello everybody, we meet today for lecture 4 and we're going to talk about a new topic. We're going to talk about nouns. What about nouns? There are certain problems with nouns and you should always bear them in mind when you're looking at sentences or when you're doing your test. Let's look at lecture 4 then, problems with nouns. Let's read this. When dealing with nouns, there are a number of things you should be able to do. Number 1, use the correct singular or plural form. لازم أبقى قادرة أستعمل المفرد أو الجمع. Number 2, distinguish countable and uncountable nouns. يعني إيه countable and uncountable nouns؟ هنقولها بعدين. طيب. Number 3, recognize irregular, singular and plural nouns. English is full of irregularities. في حاجات irregular كتير في الإنجليزي. زي الأفعال الشاذة، في كمان أسماء شاذة. And number 4, distinguish the noun that refers to the thing from the noun that refers to the person. مش أنا ممكن أقول I have the verb write. لكن writing دي الكتابة، writer ده الكاتب. طبعا أنا بقول لكم مثال which is a very simple example, but there are other things which may be a little bit confusing. عايزاكم تاخدوا بالكم هنا من حاجة. يعني الجملة دي بقول there are a number of things you should be able to do، وبعدين I have a colon، النقطتين اللي فوق بعض دول، وبعدين بقول number 1 use the correct singular or plural noun. هنا يعني زي ما انتوا يعني انتوا عارفين يعني we always start a sentence, we start a new sentence with a capital letter. وانا يمكن عملت ده بالقصد عشان اوريكم ان this is not a new sentence, this is just numbers but they are part of the same sentence. فعشان كده you do not have a capital letter، ما بقولش capital U وبعدين عندي كوما اهو وبقول to، برضو distinguish is not capital D because all this is one sentence. ادي comma comma and here I just end the sentence. alright. طيب يعني دي حاجة كده على الماشي. خدوا بالكم ان انتوا يعني you do not ever write a capital letter unless it is the beginning of a sentence. طيب هنا بقى يعني that's the first point من الأربعة اللي قلنا عليهم. use the correct singular or plural noun. You should know when a plural noun or a singular noun should be used. يعني لما أقول there were many books on the shelf. Many and where are plural. Where is a plural verb and many is also a plural word. يبقى طبعا لازم أقول there were many books on the shelf. He finished every exercises before time. As I told you in lecture 3 last time, anything that starts with every سواء كانت every وجاي وراها كلمة أو زي ما بنقول everything, everybody, everywhere, everything, everyone. Every is always singular. طيب يبقى every exercises, this is incorrect. It should be every exercise. Both sentences are wrong. The word many in the first sentence indicates that the noun should be plural. ده غير كمان الفعل اللي عندي اللي هو where. And the word every in the second sentence indicates that the noun should be singular. طيب. There are certain keywords that indicate that a plural should be used. في كلمات بتقولي إن لازم يبقى الاسم اللي عندي plural جمع زي both, two يعني or any other number, 2, 5, 6, whatever, many, several, various, all these are plural words. إذا قلت various ولا several ولا many ولا both، لأن both معناها اتنين. طيب other keywords indicate that a singular noun should be used. زي each, every, single, one و a. لو عندي a يعني لو أنا بقول there is a book on the shelf، ولا I bought a book. ما اقدرش اقول I bought a books. a هي الارتكل اللي بتيجي قبل الاسم المفرد في الانجليزي. طيب طبعا هنا one، هنا قلنا two or other numbers، لكن هنا one just one. Starting from two you will have a plural noun. طيب let's look at this exercise. Each of the following sentences contains at least one keyword to tell you if a noun should be plural or singular. Color the words, color the keywords, and underline the nouns they describe. Indicate if the sentences are correct or incorrect. Type. Number one, the pharmacy stocked many antibiotics for the various types of fever. كانوا مخزنين في الأجزخانة حاطين stocked. They had a stock كتير قوي. Many antibiotics. طبعا كلمة many، this is the word that tells you that you should have what? A plural noun. Antibiotic يبقى لازم تبقى many antibiotics. طيب. Every bill must be paid before January. I have the word every. Every indicates that we should have a singular noun, and bill is a singular noun. Every bill must be paid. This is correct. Every bill must be paid before January. طيب let's look at number three. The engineer demonstrated زي ما بتقولوا انتوا عارفين عمل demonstration يعني عرض. The engineer demonstrated the various way in which the machine could be used. طبعا أنا عندي كلمة various. After various you should have a plural noun. فهتبقى إيه؟ The various ways. طيب number four. It was difficult to believe that both is my word that tells me I should have a plural noun. Both of the exam، طبعا both of I should have a plural noun فهتبقى ايه؟ both of the exams were scheduled on the same day، يعني اتعملوا الجدول بتاعهم كانوا في نفس اليوم. طيب people become more anxious for real change with each passing days. طيب each is a singular word. Passing days is plural فلازم تبقى ايه؟ with each passing day. A trip to Siwa would make a nice vacation 1 days. 1 days لا. 1 is only one. Singular. 1 day. The doctor was alarmed in Zag that not a single patient showed signs of recovery. Not a single. عندي a وعندي single يبقى this is the mark for a singular noun which is patient. ولا مريض واحد showed signs of recovery بان عليه أعراض الشفاء when the new drug was administered لما يعني ادوهم الدواء الجديد. طيب the laundry اللي هي المحل اللي بيغسل الحاجات. The laundry returned two. That's the word that tells me I should have a plural noun. 2 of the customers dress لا dresses plural word that had irremovable stains كان عليها بقع ما مش ممكن بتتشال. irremovable cannot be removed. When the first proposal was rejected, the team immediately worked on a different, a singular, different يبقى ايه؟ not once, one on a different one. Number 10, each is the singular word here. Each packets, لا, each packet of cigarettes contains a dozen boxes. A dozen boxes. طيب عندي A برضو is a singular word وراها كلمة dozen. A dozen هنا يعني dozen I have a dozen دستة يعني or dozens. الكلمة اللي بعد dozen هي اللي بتيجي جمع لأن طبعا dozen يعني 12 واحدة. طيب علشان نقدر نراجع بعدين let's look at the key. This is a rather longer lecture. معلش. Answer key. طيب. The pharmacy stocked many antibiotics. Every bill must be paid before January. This is correct. The engineer demonstrated the various ways. It was difficult to believe that both of the exams were scheduled on the same day. People became more anxious for real change with each passing day. A trip to Siwa would make a nice vacation one day, not one day. The doctor was alarmed that not a single patient showed signs of recovery when the new drug was administered. The laundry returned two of the customers' dresses that had irremovable stains. When the first proposal was rejected, the team immediately, and لما اترفض العرض الأولاني, the team immediately worked on a different one. Each packet of cigarettes contains a dozen boxes. طيب. Let us now go back to the second point, which is a problem with nouns. طيب. طيب. Countable and uncountable nouns. يعني ايه بقى countable and uncountable nouns؟ انتوا عارفين ان to count يعني يعد. Countable that's an adjective معناها يتعد. Uncountable that's the opposite مش ممكن تتعد. طيب احنا عندنا اسماء بتتعد واسماء ما بتتعدش. يعني ايه؟ لو بقول مثلا if I'm talking about students, my students, I have 200 students. طيب بقدر أعدهم 1 student, 10 students, 100 students. لكن لما أقول مثلا كلمة زي work, I cannot say that I have many works to do. أقول I have a lot of work to do. كلمة زي كلمة work cannot be counted. كلمة زي كلمة مثلا sugar cannot be counted. Butter, gas, water. Alright? These are words which are uncountable nouns. طيب. In English, nouns are classified as countable or uncountable. It's important to know what nouns are countable and what nouns are uncountable to use the correct modifiers with them. يعني ايه modifiers بقى؟ ما هو أنا ممكن أقول مثلا a lot of دي ممكن أستعملها مع count nouns و non-count nouns. لكن لو عايزة أقول مثلا many students with a countable noun هقول many. لكن لو عايزة أقول work مش هقول many work هقول much work. يبقى لازم أبقى عارفة الاسم اللي عندي ده whether it's a countable noun or a non-countable noun to know which modifiers to use. Modifiers يعني adjectives. طيب, countable nouns are nouns that come in quantities of 1, 2, or 3, etc. Nouns like student, book, day, etc. are countable because we can have one or several. Uncountable nouns, on the contrary, على العكس, cannot be counted. ما نقدرش نعدهم because they come in an unspecific quantity or mass. لأن دول بيبقوا موجودين in an unspecific quantity بكمية غير محددة or mass أو كتلة غير محددة. Water, oil, shampoo, rice, or abstract ideas like happiness, الأفكار المجردة زي happiness, friendship, or hope are uncountable nouns. دي ما بتتعدش. ليه؟ Because you cannot count them in numbers ولا ممكن أحط لهم S. You should recognize modifiers that come with countable and non-countable. ممكن نقول non-countable, ممكن نقول uncountable nouns. The following chart, الجدول اللي جاي, will tell you what keywords, الكلمات الأساسية, what keywords indicate اللي بتشير للcountable والuncountable nouns. طيب بصوا بقى. Keywords for countable and uncountable nouns. طيب countable nouns take many, لكن uncountable nouns take much. Countable nouns take a number, لكن uncountable nouns take an amount. ممكن مع countable nouns بقول few, لكن مع uncountable بقول little. أقول few students لكن little work. أقول fewer students and less work. alright? طيب, كلمة بقى زي مثلا a lot of, دي بتيجي مع both countable and uncountable. طيب, let's look at exercise 40. Each of the following words contains at least one keyword to tell you if a noun should be countable or uncountable. Color the keywords, هنلاقيها بقى متلونة في answer key. Color the keywords and underline the nouns they modify. Indicate if the sentences are correct or incorrect. Type. Let's look at number 1. He grew up to be such a cruel person because he received little attention when he was a child. طيب, الكلمة اللي عندي اللي بتقولي إن أنا I have an uncountable noun اللي هي كلمة little. alright? Attention is a word which is uncountable. ما بنقولش attentions. يعني معنى الجملة إنه هو كبر إنه يبقى إنسان قاسي لأنه لم يتلقى إلا اهتمام قليل قوي when he was a child. طيب, يبقى this is correct. بقول little attention. Little is used with uncountable nouns. لكن with countable nouns you can use a number. طيب, the police had few chances to catch the thief who had committed a large amount of crimes. طيب, few chances, few جاية قبل chances, few, which is used with countable nouns, وعندي countable noun chances. لكن عندي كمان ايه؟ a large amount of crimes. بصوا, لما يكون عندي اسم بيتعد I use the word many. اسم ما بيتعدش I use the word amount. يبقى دي مفروض تبقى ايه؟ a large number of crimes. Amount is used with non-countable nouns. لكن أنا عندي crimes, crime and crimes. طبعا دايما ال countable nouns take S in plural. ما بقولش a large amount of crimes لكن أقول a large number لأني بعدهم 1 2 3 100. طيب. She will have fewer problems. Fewer problems. Problems بتتعد يبقى عندي fewer with her children if they are more independent. Fewer for countables and I have problems. It's a countable word. طيب. After the votes were counted, many candidates were out of the race. بعد ما عدوا الأصوات مرشحين كتير خرجوا من السباق. سباق إيه بقى؟ الرئاسة ولا حاجة كده. طيب. Many candidates. طيب أنا عندي the word many which means that I should have a plural noun وعندي the word candidates. Alright? طيب. Because the briefcase اللي هي شنطة الأوراق. Because the briefcase was partly open, much papers fell out. Papers is a plural word that takes an S. 1 paper, 2 papers, 3 papers. طيب بقول عليها ايه بقى؟ much ولا بقول عليها many؟ many papers fell out. Since new employees were hired, من أول ما جابوا موظفين جديد عينوا موظفين جداد. هنا أنا عندي new employees. This is a plural word. لكن ما فيش قدامها كلمة تقول إن this is a plural word. لكن أنا هنا على الأقل عندي employees which is a plural subject and I have a plural verb. The company has had less trouble less for an uncountable noun and the word trouble is a countable noun لأن بقول I have many troubles with my children. يبقى ما ينفعش أقول less. لازم أقول إيه؟ fewer trouble with the huge number of work. طيب أقول the huge أنا عندي كلمة تانية أهو the huge number of work. ما أقدرش أقول number of work because work is an uncountable noun. ما بقولش works. يبقى I should not use the word number but I should use the word amount. A huge amount of work. طيب there are much new items. Much items. Items is a plural countable noun. يبقى أقول much ولا أقول إيه؟ أقول many. Many new items to buy before leaving. And there is such a short amount of time. عندي amount of time. ما بقولش number of time. Amount of time. لأن time is a non-countable noun. Time. Let's look at number 8. The less time you work, the less benefits you will have. كل ما اشتغلت وقت أقل كل ما الامتيازات اللي عندك بقت أقل. طيب time is non-countable يبقى استعمل معاه less. But benefits are countable يبقى استعمل less. لا. Less is wrong. هقول the fewer benefits you will have. If you soldiers. طيب soldiers برضو is a countable noun يبقى تاخد few ما تاخدش little. A few soldiers who had been hurt in the demonstration اللي اتجرحوا في المظاهرة يعني were hospitalized ودوهم المستشفى. طيب it's better to go shopping early in the morning because there are less people in the market. طيب صحيح ان people does not take an S but it means a group. it means number, it means a number. ما بقولش there are less people لأني بعد الناس persons, so many persons. يبقى بقول there are fewer people in the market. طيب نبص بسرعة على exercise 40. I have to show you this علشان يبان في الCD. طيب He grew up to be such a cruel person because he received little attention when he was a child. This is correct. The police had few chances to catch the thief who had committed a large amount of crimes. دي طبعا incorrect, a large number of crimes. She will have fewer problems with her children if they are more independent. لو يعني هم بيعتمدوا على نفسهم شوية هيبقى عندها مشاكل أقل معاهم. This is correct. After the votes were counted, many candidates, this is correct. Because the briefcase was partly open, much papers, many papers fell out. Since new employees were hired, the company has had less trouble with the huge number of work. With the huge amount of work. ممكن أقول لا على فكرة less trouble is correct. It doesn't have to be many troubles. أحيانا بتبقى يعني عادة نقول many problems but less trouble. لكن أحيانا برضو بتستعمل as a plural noun. Both are correct by the way. يعني ممكن أقول less trouble و fewer troubles. There are much new items. لا. Many new items. لكن a short amount of time. Amount of time is correct. The less time you work, the less benefits. لا. The fewer benefits. A few soldiers, this is correct, who had been hurt in the demonstration were hospitalized. It's better to go shopping early in the morning because there are less people. لا. Because there are fewer people. All right. Let's look now at the third point you should take care of when you are dealing with nouns. Type. Now, the third point about nouns is irregular plurals. يعني irregular plurals. Regular plurals are the nouns that take an S. Regular plural nouns in English end in S. But there are many irregular nouns, and these may cause confusion because they do not have S, and the plural noun may look like a singular noun. يعني أولا ما فيهمش S، غير كمان إن البلورال looks like a singular noun. The following chart lists some irregular plurals. Those are some irregular plurals. طيب. Sometimes the plural is indicated with a vowel change. يعني إيه؟ A vowel change يعني تغيير في الحركة، يعني في الحرف المتحرك. يعني بقول man men، foot feet، goose with the يعني geese. ممكن بقول woman women، tooth teeth، mouse mice. طيب. Sometimes you form the plural by adding en. يعني بقول child children، ox يعني Thor oxen. And sometimes, and this is really irregular, the plural is the same as the singular. يعني بقول deer غزالة ودير برضو غزلان. بقول salmon سمك السلمون الواحدة and salmon plural. بقول trout and trout ده نوع من السمك اللي هو اللي بيقولوا عليه ايه الهامور او الوقار. طيب كلمة fish is singular but fish is also plural. يعني ما اقول مثلا I cooked 10 fish for dinner. يعني I cooked 10 fish for dinner. ما بقولش I cooked 10 fishes for dinner. بقول sheep يعني خروف، وشيب يعني برضو خرفان، غنم. طيب now other nouns which have the singular in is have the plural in es. كلمة زي analysis تحليل، analyses الجمع بتاعها، access and axes، crisis يعني أزمة، crises، diagnosis diagnoses، hypothesis hypotheses، parentheses parentheses، و synthesis syntheses، و thesis theses. إذا أي كلمة بلاقي الاسم is يبقى ده singular، البلورال بيبقى es. طيب في كلمات بقى that have their plural ending in a. انتوا عارفين كلمة bacteria. طيب bacteria which we all use, this is a plural noun. السنجولار دايما اللي البلورال بتاعه بينتهي ب a، السنجولار بينتهي ب um، يعني بكتيريوم بكتيريا. وانتوا عارفين كمان كلمة داتا المعلومات، السنجولار بتاعها داتوم. وكرايتيريان كرايتيريا دي مختلفة خالص، ما هيش كرايتيريوم، دي كرايتيريان. we have curriculum curriculum اللي هي المناهج curricula، we have phenomenon and phenomena. وفي بقى حاجات اللي المفرد بتاعها بينتهي ب us، الجمع بيبتدي ب I، زي alumnus alumni، bacillus bacilli، cactus اللي هو الصبار cacti، fungus fungi fungus اللي هي الطفيليات، nucleus nuclei، radius radii، stimulus مثير، stimuli، وsyllabus syllabi. طيب انا بقول لكم معاني الكلمات اللي هي يعني بتعدي عليكم كتير، syllabus اللي هي مناهج، وstimulus مثير. طيب now let's look at the exercise. Each of the following sentences contains at least one noun with an irregular plural. Underline the nouns that have irregular plurals and indicate if the sentences are correct or incorrect. Number 1, parentheses is needed around that expression. طيب طبعا ال es معناها ان this is plural، يبقى the verb must be plural. انا بس برضو هنا لازم افكر. parentheses، افرضوا ان انا حتى مش عارفه كلمه parentheses اللي هي اقواس يعني. طيب لكن كلمه around، ما دام around يبقى كلمه around هتقولي ان ده جمع، لان around مش هتبقى حاجه مفرد. around يعني حاجه هحطها حوالين تعبير معين، يعني لازم هيبقوا حاجتين، لازم هيبقى جمع. يبقى parentheses ايه بقى؟ is needed are needed. You should eat fish 3 times a week because fish are good for people with heart trouble. طيب fish ادي النون which is plural، ادي الفعل بتاعه are. This is correct. The syllabi for the courses is included in the packet of materials that you receive. طيب the syllabi for the courses. طيب syllabus US ده مفرد، ما دام انا اقول for the courses يعني ده مش منهج واحد، ده مناهج، يبقى كلمة syllabi is correct. لكن هتبقى بقى is included ولا are included لأنها جمع. طيب the diagnosis were not at all encouraging. diagnosis اللي هو التشخيص، diagnoses التشخيص. طيب هنا يعني احنا بنتكلم الجملة معناها ايه؟ احنا بنتكلم على تشخيص واحد ولا عدة تشخيص؟ هي طبعا تشخيص واحد. يبقى the diagnosis were not ولا was not. The diagnosis was not at all encouraging. ما كانش مشجع، يعني التشخيص ما كانش كويس. The crisis الأزمة ما دام آخرها IS أهو تبقى مفرد. The crisis وإز يبقى صح. The crisis is not going to be resolved until demands are met. طيب all of the alumni. alumnus اللي هم الخريجين. alumnus خريج. انتوا عارفين اليو اس مفرد يبقى الاي جمع. all of the alumni are يبقى are صح لانه جمع are attending the graduation party. Number 7 a flock of sheep crossing the street where طبعا where لان sheep هي جمع وافلاك حتى معناها ان اللي جاي وراها جمع. قطيع من الاغنام. crossing the street were run down by a speeding bus. داس عليهم اتوبيس مسرع. طيب milk teeth. milk teeth اللي هي الاسنان اللبنيه. is teeth is plural يبقى milk teeth are usually fully grown by the age of 2. The fungi has spread throughout the garden. برضو هنا هفكر في المعنى. fungi is plural. fungus is singular وانا عندي الفعل اهو singular. وحتى لو فكرت في المعنى هي اكيد الفنجس ده ولا الطفيليات ده هيبقى نوع واحد. يعني سواء ممكن يبقى عندي نوع واحد فهتبقى the fungus has spread. وفرضوا انها كانت مجموعة من الميكروبات والحاجات اللي بتيجي في الزرع فهتبقى the fungi بدل has. لو قلت fungi بدل ما هقول has هقول ايه؟ هقول have. The fox was chasing after the deer. الثعلب كان بيجري ورا الغزلان which were racing for their lives. طيب الجملة دي بقى ممكن تبقى مفرد لكن ايه اللي بيخليني اقول ان the deer هنا the deer is a plural noun؟ لان انا عندي a plural verb where وعندي كمان a plural pronoun and noun were racing for their lives. يبقى deer هنا ايه؟ plural. لو كانت مفرد كنت هقول ايه؟ The fox was chasing after the deer which was racing for its life. اوكي؟ طيب يلا نشوف ال answer key for this exercise. Type exercise 41. What are we supposed to do? Underline the nouns that have irregular plurals and indicate if the sentences are correct or incorrect. طيب parentheses is needed. قلنا طبعا انها are needed. You should eat fish 3 times a week because fish are good for people with heart disease. Yes, this is correct. Fish are plural. The syllabi for the courses is included. لا طبعا are included. The diagnosis were not. لا the diagnosis was not at all encouraging. The crisis is not going to be resolved. مش هتتحل الأزمة until demands are met. حتى تجاب الطلبات. يعني this is true of all times على فكرة. All of the alumni are attending the graduation party. هيحضروا حفلة التخرج. A flock of sheep crossing the street were run down by a speeding bus. Milk teeth is لا milk teeth are usually fully grown by the age of 2. The fungi has spread ايه ده؟ دي ما تصلحتش. the fungi لازم تبقى ايه؟ have. زي ما قلت لكم واحنا بنشوف الدرس نفسه، يا اما اقول the fungi has يا اما اقول the fungi have spread. يبقى نقول ان دي ايه كانت يعني. طيب the fungi has، طيب خلوها زي ما هي. the fungi has، طبعا هنقول ان دي ايه incorrect ونصلحها نقول the fungi alright. طيب number 10. The fox was chasing after the deer which were racing for their lives. ودي برضو شرحناها وقلنا إذا كانت مفرد هتبقى was chasing after the deer which was racing for its life. طيب let us now look at the last point to notice about nouns. طيب now distinguish nouns that refer to persons and nouns that refer to things. زي ما قلت لكم في كلام سهل، يعني نقول مثلا swimming swimmer، writing writer، لكن في حاجات بتبقى يعني a bit confusing تلخبط شوية. طيب nouns can refer to persons or to things. We should know which noun to use in a sentence. أنا محتاجة إيه؟ اسم الإنسان ولا اسم الحاجة نفسها؟ طيب a revolution is usually associated with socialist. الحاجة الاسم اللي بينتهي ب ist refers to the person. لكن if it ends with ism it refers to the thing. طيب the majority of graduates have a degree in accountant. برضو دي النهاية بتاعة البني آدم مش الحاجة، زي دي كده برضو. Both nouns in the previous two sentences are incorrect. In the first sentence, the noun refers to the person, and what is needed is the noun that refers to the thing, which is socialism. In the second sentence, the noun refers to the field in which an accountant works, which is accounting. تعالوا نبص عليهم بقى تاني على الجمل. A revolution is usually associated with socialist. لا، with socialism الاشتراكية. The majority of graduates have a degree، عندهم درجة، واخدين درجة، حاصلين على درجة in accountant. The accountant is the person. In accountant أنا I need the field itself اللي هو المحاسبة اللي accounting. alright. طيب تعالوا بقى نشوف الاكسرسايز دي. ده معناه ايه؟ يعني ده معناه ان لازم ابقى عارفة معاني الكلمات. I should differentiate between nouns. I should distinguish nouns that refer to persons and nouns that refer to things. طيب some of the following sentences contain nouns that are incorrectly used. مستعملين غلط. Underline the incorrectly used nouns and indicate if the sentences are correct or incorrect. طيب of all the subjects I studied, I liked poets the most. طيب poets يعني شعراء right؟ لكن I liked أنا بتكلم على subjects. of all the subjects I studied يبقى poets are the persons but the subject is poetry. يبقى هكتب ايه؟ poetry. طيب the cook in that restaurant is really a master chef. Cook is the person and that's what I need. Cooking is something else. طيب the sculpture النحت has been working on the statue for 2 years. النحت بقاله سنتين بيشتغل على التمثال ولا النحات؟ يبقى sculpture is the name of the thing. I need the name of the person. The sculpture is incorrect. The sculptor. All right? Type. Number 4. He is an authorization. Authorization TION دي دايما بتبقى نهاية الحاجة مش البني آدم. He is an authorization on legal matters, but when you are referring to the person, use the word authority. He is an authority on legal matters. حجة يعني في الشؤون القانونية. The economists' liberal views. طيب أنا هنا عايزة الشخص ولا الحاجة؟ الحاجة هي economy، لكن أنا عايزة الشخص. Let's look at number 5. The economists' liberal views were rejected in the conservative government. هنا أنا محتاجة اسم الشخص الاقتصادي اللي آراءه متحررة. آراءه المتحررة دي اترفضت في الحكومة المحافظة. طيب the new acting has recently appeared in many films. The new acting يعني التمثيل، لكن اللي بيظهر has recently appeared هيبقى the new actor. Alright? طيب we have several critics regarding the party's program. عندنا انتقادات خاصة ببرنامج الحزب. طيب هي مش critics هم البني آدمين. We have several criticisms regarding the party's program. A statistic is needed to offer an analysis of the results of the elections. A statistic أنا عايزة واحد بتاع إحصاء، يبقى a statistician is needed. Number 9, the gardener worked hard to save as many plants as possible after the week's heavy rain. طبعا أنا I need the gardener الجنايني. This is correct. She was offered the job for her outstanding research in engineer. Engineer ده اسم الشخص مهندس، لكن احنا بنقول for her outstanding research أبحاثها المتميزة في الهندسة engineering. Alright? طيب نبص على طول على الانسر key because time is up. اهي. طيب of all the subjects I studied, I liked poetry the most. The cook, this is correct. The sculptor, not the sculpture. He is an authority. The economists, this is correct. The new acting has recently appeared in many. The new actor, طبعا not acting. We have several criticisms. A statistician is needed, بتاع إحصاء. The gardener, this is correct. She was offered the job because she had outstanding research in engineering. All right. This ends our lecture about the problems we may find or we may encounter in nouns, things you should distinguish, take care of. All right, next time we have a different topics for the next lecture. Thank you very much and see you soon.